Oliver Stanley. Olly Murs is an English singer-songwriter, musician and television presenter. Murs rose to fame after finishing as the runner-up in the 6th series of The X Factor in 2009. He is currently signed to Epic Records in the United Kingdom, Columbia Records in the United States, and Syco Music. In late August 2010, Murs released his debut single Please Don't Let Me Go, which debuted at number 1 on the UK singles charts, becoming Murs' first number 1 single after releasing You Are Not Alone with the other Series 6 finalists. Please Don't Let Me Go received a gold certification by the BPI. He then released his second single from his debut album Thinking of Me, which charted at number 4 on the UK singles charts. However, the single also got a silver certification by the BPI. Heart Skips a Beat was released and became his second number 1 hit. Murs' first single from his follow-up album In Case You Didn't Know, Dance With Me Tonight, became his third to reach number 1. In November 2010, Murs released his self-titled debut album, which entered the UK albums chart at number 2, with the biggest week 1 album sales for a debut album in 2010, with over 108,000 albums sold. The album went on to sell over 600,000 copies, and was certificated double platinum by the BPI. In November 2011, Murs released his second album, In Case You Didn't Know, which entered the charts at number 1 and has spawned 2 number 1 singles. To date, Murs has sold over 10 million records worldwide. In May 2011, it was announced that Murs would return to the X Factor to co-present spin-off show The Xtra Factor with Caroline Flack. His autobiography, Happy Days, was published on October 11, 2012. In November 2012, Murs released his third album Right Place Right Time, and so far has released 4 singles from it, the first, Troublemaker, which became his fourth number 1, the second Army of Two, which reached number 12, the third Dear Darlin', which reached number 5 and the fourth, the album's title track which reached number 27. Early life, Murs was born in Witham, the son of Vicky Lynn and Pete Murs, 6. He has a twin brother, Ben Murs, and a sister, Faye Murs. 2 of his paternal great-grandparents were Latvian. He attended Hoe Bridge Junior School in Witham and Notley High School in Braintree, Essex, where he was a striker in the school's football team. He also went to school with next of kin and is a supporter of Manchester United, and played semi-professionally for Isthmian Division 1 Northside Witham Town between 2006 and 2008. He excelled for the club's reserve team during the 2006 July season, scoring 12 goals in 13 appearances and winning the region's reserve team's cup. He made 3 first-team appearances in the following season, scoring once, but was forced to give up his football career following an injury. Prior to the X Factor, Murs worked as a recruitment consultant at Prime Appointments in Witham, and performed as part of a covers band called the Small Town Blaggers with a friend, John Gooday. He also appeared on the game show Deal or No Deal in 2007, where he won £10. He returned for a celebrity version of the show in 2012, which made him the only person to appear on it twice. In 2008 he travelled to Australia, backpacking alone along the East Coast for 3 months, and it was upon his return that he decided, having tried it out unsuccessfully in the past twice, to audition for the X Factor again. Music career, 2009 Euro 2010, The X Factor. In 2009, Murs auditioned for the 6th series of The X Factor, performing Stevie Wonder's Superstition. Judge Simon Cowell said it was the easiest yes I've ever given. At boot camp Murs sung Elton John's Song Your Song. On the first live show, he sang She's the One, and on the second, A Fool in Love, a performance which Cowell described as being in a different league. For week 3 he took on Bewitched. Walsh commented that he was the dark horse of the competition, and Cowell said he was coming into his own each week. He frequently employed dance moves in his performance, including his trademark Ollie Wiggle. In week 4 he sang Come Together, and again received positive comments, with Walsh predicting, I think you're in the final 3, and Cowell saying he was progressing better than just about everybody. In week 5 he performed Twist and Shout, and in week 6 Don't Stop Me Now, after which he was labelled by Minogue's absolutely the best performer we have on the show by far." In week 7, after a performance of Fast Love, he was in the bottom 2 with John and Edward. Cole and Cheryl Cole decided to send John and Edward home, but Louis Walsh voted against Murs. Danny Minogue then decided against taking the judges' vote to deadlock and sent home John and Edward. When the voting statistics were later released on ITV.com, they revealed that if Minogue had voted to save John and Edward and taken it to deadlock, Murs would have been sent home on popular vote, as John and Edward gained 10.7% of the popular vote against just 9.8% to Murs. To participate in the semi-finals, Murs had to miss his brother's wedding. The ceremony took place just 16 miles from the show's studio, but mentor Cole was against letting him off for a few hours on the crucial semi-final day. He sang "Can You Feel It?" and "We Can Work It Out" in the semi-final and ended up as one of the 3 finalists, breaking down on hearing the result. In the final on December 12, he repeated his audition song, "Superstition," following which Cole said putting him in the final 12 was the best risk I have ever taken in my life. Murs then sang with Robbie Williams on a duet of Angels, in which Williams fluffed his lines as he walked on stage to join Murs and came in at the wrong time, singing the second line of the song, but was helped by Murs to find the right spot. There was then a repeat performance of his week 2 song "Fool in Love." Murs qualified for the final 2 and first sang a repeat performance of "Twist and Shout," following which Walsh commented, "You're a born showman and no matter what happens tonight you're going to have a great career in music." In his final performance on the show he performed the winner's song, "The Climb," finishing it in tears. He was told by Cole, "You absolutely tore it from your soul. I've never heard you sing like that. I thought it was a beautiful version of the song." He lost the final to Joe Masaldery the next day and finished as the runner-up. On December 15, 2 days after the final, it was reported that Cole was going to offer Murs a record deal in early 2010. Following his defeat, Murs was reportedly texted by duet partner Robbie Williams and invited to visit him in his Los Angeles mansion and participate in the forthcoming Soccer Aid, organized by Williams. Murs performed on the X Factor tour, alongside Joe Masaldery, John and Edward, Stacey Solomon, Lucy Jones and several other finalists. It was later revealed on Extra Factor that Murs was predicted by all the judges and presenters as the favorite to win the series at the boot camp stage. As with all other finalists save the winner, Murs began gigging around the country following the end of the show. He was also booked to appear at the engagement party of model Danielle Lloyd. Footage of Murs appearing on Deal or No Deal was later featured in an edition of the BBC's Almost Famous on January 2, 2010. 2010–2011, major label success and Olly Murs, rumours began that Murs would record a debut album almost immediately after the final, where he finished in second place to Joe Masaldery. After the rumours broke out, Murs announced he signed a joint record deal between Epic Records and Syco Music in February 2010. It was announced that Murs began working with John Shanks and Egg White. It was later confirmed that Roy Stride, Trevor Horn, Wayne Hector and Matty Benbrook would have involvement on the album, which he collaborated with to make the best possible songs. More writers and producers were confirmed to be working with Murs in the studio, including Phil Thornley, Martin Brammer, Samuel Preston, Mark Taylor and Christopher. Professor Green was due to appear on the album, however, the duet fell through before recording was completed. Murs confirmed the first single from the album to be titled "Please Don't Let Me Go," which was released on August 27, 2010 following the circulation of the accompanying music video. The song was written by Murs himself and with other songwriters, Claude Kelly and Steve Robson. The single was also produced by Future Cut. The song is about a minor relationship Murs was in where he ended up feeling something for the other person. Murs commented, "Sadly she kept giving me the impression that she didn't like me as much, and ultimately it didn't work out. So that's where the idea of me singing Please Don't Let Me Go came from." The song was described as a lovely summery reggae-tinged pop tune that bobs along in a thoroughly hummable and not unwell young-like fashion, and said that the music video is just as quintessentially pleasant. During the release, Murs was told not to get his hopes up for a number one due to Katy Perry releasing Teenage Dream the same day. On September 5, 2010, the single entered the UK singles charts at number 1, beating Katy Perry's Teenage Dream. The song was released with the B-side track, entitled This One's for the Girls, also entered the UK singles charts, debuting at number 69, was written for all of his female fans. His debut album was released in November 2010, which was a self-titled album, Olly Murs. The album's tracking list was revealed on October 15, 2010. The album entered the UK Albums Chart at number 2, with the biggest week 1 album sales for a debut album in 2010, with over 108,000 albums sold. The album also charted on the Irish Albums Chart, where it found itself peaking at number 11. The second single was Thinking of Me, written by Murs, Steve Robson and Hector, and co-produced by Future Cut and Steve Robson. It was released on November 19, 2010. Prior to the album's release, it was reported that Professor Green would feature on the single. However, the duet fell through before it was completed. The single was added to BBC Radio 1's playlist on November 3, 2010. Murs performed the single for the first time on The X Factor. Upon the release, the single charted at number 4 on the UK singles charts and 13 on the Irish singles charts. On November 13, Murs turned the Christmas lights on in Paisley, and he also turned on the Christmas lights near his hometown in Chelmsford, Essex. Renfrewshire Council was criticised in the media for the £15,000 fee that Murs was paid to turn on the lights, after announcing that they were axing 500 jobs. Murs, however, donated his fee for his appearance at this event. 2 further singles were released from the first album into 2011: The James Morrison penned Heart on My Sleeve, which charted at number 20 in March 2011, and Busy, which charted at number 45 in June 2011. Olly completed a theatre tour for his first album in spring 2011, commencing on April 26 in Rhyl at the Pavilion Theatre and playing 4 sold-out nights at London's Hammersmith Apollo in late May. He also toured as the support act of JLS on their Summer Stadium tour. 2011, in case you didn't know. It was rumoured in June 2011, that Murs had started working on his second studio album, which he later confirmed. Murs claimed that he would take the album from a different approach, and claimed he would like to record a rap track, stating, "I'm secretly not a bad rapper, I really like to do a bit of beatboxing, Eminem is always a favourite, or maybe Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby is a classic." Murs revealed that he will attempt to build himself a more of a soulful sound through writing the second album, and also expressed interest in recording with Robbie Williams after the two met on the X Factor Live final. Murs confirmed in July 2011, that the lead single from the album would be called Heart Skips a Beat, and it would feature up-and-coming Breath-Up rap duo Rizzle Kicks. He described it as a parallel to the remainder of the album, calling it a summer party song. The song premiered on The Chris Moyles Show on July 7, 2011 and has since been well received by fans. The video for the track was later released via Murs' official YouTube channel. Murs said that the song is one of his favorite tracks from the new album, stating, "I'm loving the tune at the moment. It's going down really, really well." Heart Skips a Beat later peaked at number 1 on the UK singles chart, marking his second number 1. It later went on to peak at number 1 in Germany and Switzerland, also reaching top 10 in numerous countries in Europe. In September 2011, Murs announced via Twitter that the second album would be entitled In Case You Didn't Know, taken from a song of the same name which appears on the album. On October 14, 2011, Murs released the audio of Dance With Me Tonight, the album's second single, via his YouTube channel. The track was released on November 21, 2011, again peaking at number 1 on the UK singles chart. The album, In Case You Didn't Know, was released a week later on November 28, 2011. The album peaked at number 1 on the UK Albums Chart, 2 on the Irish charts, and in the top 10 in Germany, Switzerland and Poland. Murs confirmed via his Twitter account in February 2012 that the album's third single would be Oh My Goodness, and that it would be released on April 2. It peaked at number 13 on the UK singles chart. The single was his second release in Europe after Heart Skips a Beat, released on August 10, and has so far peaked in the top 40 in Germany and Austria. 2012 Euro 13, Right Place Right Time. In April 2012, it was revealed that Murs was in the process of writing his third studio album, which was released on November 26, 2012. Murs has once again written with Steve Robson and Claude Kelly. Ed Druitt and Andrew Frampton and Steve Kipner are other names that have been confirmed for the third album, and in a June 2012 interview with the website Examiner he confirmed the name of a new song, One of These Days, which he described as a follow-on song from I Need You Now on his previous album. On September 17, Murs announced the first single from his third album, Troublemaker, a collaboration with Claude Kelly and Steve Robson which features American rapper Flo Rida and was released on November 18. It also served as Murs' second US single. The same day, he also announced the name of the third album, Right Place Right Time. The cover artwork and track listing for the album was unveiled on October 1. Murs will be embarking on a second arena tour of the UK and Ireland in February-March 2013 to support the album, as well as performing his first live European dates in Germany, Switzerland, Sweden and Denmark in April 2013. On January 14, 2013 Murs confirmed that the second single from the album would be Army of Two, which was released on March 10, 2013. The album's third single, Dear Darlin', was released on June 3, 2013. On August 25, 2013, the album's title track Right Place Right Time was released as the fourth single. Murs was the opening act for One Direction on the North American leg of their Up All Night tour, which began on May 29 in Toronto. Heart Skips a Beat was released as Murs' first US single through Columbia Records on May 29, 2012, replacing Rizzle Kicks with American rappers Kiddy Bang for its release. As of September 2012 it has peaked at number 96 on the Billboard Hot 100. Murs was set to release In Case You Didn't Know as his debut US album on September 25, 2012, also through Columbia. However, Examiner.com reported on September 2 that the release had been postponed until further notice, with no definite new release date given. On September 17, Columbia then confirmed a new release date of December 3 and that they would now be releasing Murs' third UK album, Right Place Right Time as his debut US release instead. The track listing for this will include Heart Skips a Beat, Dance With Me Tonight, and Oh My Goodness alongside Troublemaker, and 6 other tracks from the new UK album. The release has since been delayed again, however, and is now due for release in the US on April 4, 2013. While visiting Chicago, Illinois for a January 25 performance, Olly spoke with WBBM-FM B96 and confirmed that the final US release date is April 16, 2013 and he will be featured as February 2013 a Euro unregistered trademark SVH1 UFTA no artist. Murs provided support for Robbie Williams on his Take the Crown Stadium tour and also performed a duet with him on Kids. In July 2013, Murs served as the headline act at Alton Towers Live. In September, was announced that a new French version of Dear Darlin', with participation of the famous singer Eliza copyrightee, would be released in the second day of the month, with also the support of a concert in Paris to attack the France market. On September 11, Murs announced on his Facebook page that he was going to release a repackaged edition of Right Place Right Time, which would be released in November 2013. Also on the same day Murs announced that he will feature on Robbie Williams' upcoming album Swings Both Ways, singing I Wanna Be Like You, a song which he had sung on his first attempt to audition for the X Factor. Murs also featured on the UK version of rapper Classified's song In a Ninja, released on November 10, 2013. Murs unveiled Hand on Heart as the lead single from the re-release of Right Place Right Time and was released on the 24th November with the re-release following a week later. 2014 A Euro upcoming fourth studio album. In July 2013, Murs revealed that he had been back in the studio writing and recording new material for his fourth album, due to be released in summer 2014. In February 2014, it was revealed that work had begun on his fourth studio album. He has been working with Wayne Hector, Claude Kelly and Steve Robson. Other work: on October 28, 2011, Murs was the first artist to be confirmed to play at Capital FM's Jingle Bell Ball 2011. In November 2011, Murs won the award for Best Male Artist at the BT Digital Music Awards and the award for Best Album for Olly Murs at the BBC Radio 1 Teen Awards. On 5 and 6 December, Murs supported Gary Barlow at Barlow's concerts at the Royal Albert Hall, where they performed together on the take that hit Shine. In March 2012, Murs performed at the Big Gig event in Birmingham. On March 24, in aid of sport relief, Murs performed alongside Rizzle Kicks, Vida and JLS at a special charity concert, held at the O2 Arena in London. On April 16, Murs won the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Award for Favourite British Male Artist. On April 19, a three-part documentary trailing Murs throughout his UK arena tour, entitled Olly, Life on Murs, premiered on ITV2. It drew over 500,000 viewers. In July 2012 Murs performed at Tea in the Park. In August 2012 Murs performed at V Festival where he did his own set and also joined Madness for a performance of It Must Be Love and One Step Beyond. Murs' keen interest in football, and support of Manchester United means that he has also frequently appeared on sport-based TV shows and radio stations such as TalkSport either during promotion of his music or as a talking head giving his opinion on matches. He also released a special DVD, entitled Olly Murs, 7 Deadly Sins of Football, through 2 Entertain on November 28, 2011. In this DVD he introduced archive clips of Premier League matches well noted for displaying, when players get too greedy, when they get angry, and when they get lazy, as well as offering opinions from Ray Parlour, Alvin Martin, Jason Cundy, Ray Horton and Mickey Quinn from TalkSport. In January 2013, as part of celebrations to mark the 150th anniversary of the founding of the FA, Murs was appointed as an FA 150 ambassador, along with other leading figures from the world of football such as Alan Shearer, Gary Lineker and Sir Bobby Charlton. More recently, Murs has also been involved in some modelling fashion work. He was the face of European clothing store New Yorker in March 2012 for their men's Spring-Summer 2012 range. Participating stores in Germany and Luxembourg ran a promotion in this period where customers were able to have their picture taken with a cardboard point-of-sale display of Murs. He has also modelled for the Autumn-Winter 2012 range of Robbie Williams clothing label Farrell. Murs released an illustrated autobiography, Happy Days, published by Coronet on October 11, 2012. Photography for the book was shot by Dean Freeman, who has also worked on books for JLS, Michael Bublé copyright and David Beckham, and Murs also recorded an audio version of the book that was made available to download. In January 2013 it was confirmed that Murs would guest star in the Season 5 episode of the American drama series 90,210 where he would perform Troublemaker, and Right Place Right Time. The episode aired on April 22, 2013. On October 6, 2013 Murs returned to The X Factor as a guest mentor to help judge Gary Barlow pick his finalist for the finals of the competition. Philanthropy. In February 2011, it was announced that Murs would participate in the BT charity trek, with other celebrities, as part of the 2011 Comic Relief Red Nose Day campaign. The celebrities spent 5 days in the Kasat Desert in North Kenya, covering 100 kilometers in temperatures up to 40 degrees Celsius. On April 2, 2011, Murs appeared in a celebrity version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And won £10,000 for charity. On April 22, he appeared on a celebrity edition of Deal or No Deal, where he won 50p for his chosen charity, Brainwave, a local charity based in Murs' hometown that he became a patron of for children with brain conditions such as cerebral palsy or developmental delay. On May 27, 2012, Murs played for England in a charity match for Soccer Aid at Old Trafford, but was taken off in the first half due to a hamstring injury. England ended up winning the match in a 3-1 victory against the rest of the world. He is also a patron for the Nordhoff Robbins Music Therapy charity, and more recently he has become a patron for the Rays of Sunshine Children's Charity, who grant wishes to seriously or terminally ill children aged 3-18 in the United Kingdom. On March 21, 2014, Murs took part in the Clash of the Titans event in Aid for Sport Relief 2014 as part of Sebastian Coe's team, Team Coe, who were crowned champions. He took part in men's cycling elimination and rhythmic gymnastics. Presenting, on April 4, 2011, Murs stood in for comedy Dave Vitti on the Chris Moyles Show on Radio 1 for 1 week while Vitti was rehearsing for Dancing on Ice. In 2011, Murs appeared on CBBC's children's hidden camera show Remote Control Star. At the end of May 2011, Murs presented a Celebrity Club Classics show on Heart FM. He went on to present a celebrity special over the Christmas period in 2011 and again in 2012. On May 31, 2011, it was confirmed that Murs would be co-presenting the 8th series of The Xtra Factor alongside Caroline Flack. On November 10, 2011, Murs turned on the Christmas lights at Cribbs Causeway in South Gloucestershire, where 7,000 fans attended. Murs concluded his appearance with a performance of Dance With Me Tonight, the first time he had performed the song live. On December 2, Murs appeared on The Late Late Toy Show with Ryan Tubridy, a popular television show in Ireland. On February 1, 2012, Murs began his 22-date arena tour, starting with an audience of 20,000 in Cardiff. In March 2012, it was confirmed that Murs would return to the X Factor to present the spin-off show, The Xtra Factor alongside Caroline Flack, for a second year running. Due to his international release and touring with One Direction over the summer, however, he was not present for the audition, boot camp and judges' houses stages of this year's series, but did however record some special segments with selected auditionees that were broadcast in these episodes. He returned to the show full-time with Flack on the first live show of the series on October 6, 2012. In April 2013, it was confirmed that Murs had quit his role as co-presenter of The Xtra Factor to concentrate on his music career. He was replaced by Matt Richardson. Personal life: Murs lives in Essex. He lived with his parents until Easter 2012, where he moved into a house of his own in Toot Hill. He is good friends with singers Robbie Williams, Gary Barlow, Michael Bublé. Copyright, Niall Horan and the group Brizzle Kicks. As of 2012, Murs has been dating model Francesca Thomas. 1. Discography. Olly Murs, In Case You Didn't Know, Right Place Right Time, concert tours, headlining, theatre tour, In Case You Didn't Know tour, Right Place Right Time tour, supporting, One Direction's Up All Night tour, Robbie Williams' Take the Crown Stadium tour, awards and nominations, BBC Radio 1 Teen Awards, Brit Awards, Ivor Novello Award, MTV Europe Music Awards, Radio Disney Music Awards, UK Music Video Awards. References